110%. You have the new Tesla affordable models all wrong. The new Tesla Model 3 standard range is by far the best bang for your buck. The reason why? It actually packs more premium features than its more expensive sibling, the new Tesla Model Y standard. At $36,490, it's hard to believe as Tesla's cheapest EV, it still offers a near premium-like experience, and more so than the new Tesla Model Y standard that's gathering most of the attention. Yes, they are two different cars for just different target markets, but if you're not after absolute practicality that the Tesla Model Y offers, I think it's pretty wild that no one is hyping this new Model 3 standard more than it currently is. And if you've been under a rock for the past couple of weeks, Tesla opted to slash costs on both their high volume models in the Tesla Model 3 and Tesla Model Y. But the very purpose of this video is to highlight that the Tesla Model 3 was frankly left unscathed in a number of core areas. Heck, it even offers more premium value than my 2021 refreshed Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive did back in the day, and it cost more back then too. Oh, and to throw it out there, did you know that the Tesla Model Y cooked with the Model Y L in China? There's now a hot rumour there's a Tesla China take on these more affordable models too. More on that towards the end of the video. So if you're head scratching why this Tesla Model 3 standard genuinely has me considering if I should be making space on my driveway for it, and if my wife will then put me in the doghouse, I'd appreciate it if you could please just hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and hype the video if you haven't already. Right, thank you lovely lot for doing so. Let's get straight into it. So cutting to the chase, we already know both the Model 3 standard and the Model Y standard share the basics. We're talking about Sentry mode, FSD hardware, 321 miles of range on 18-inch rims and 303 on 19s. Both have a 7-speaker audio setup, etc. There's a video on the top of the screen now if you want to see the full breakdown, but here's the hook that you're after. When Tesla was counting the cost beans, they seem to have been rather generous with the bean counter for the Model 3, as it has more premium features than its pricier sibling. And if we just take a look at specs before shining the focus on the features that you do touch and use day to day, take acceleration. The difference between the previous trims of the Model 3 and the Model Y is almost half the difference. The Model 3 difference to premium is 0.9 seconds slower, whereas the Model Y is 1.4 seconds slower, ensuring that the Model 3 standard keeps its zippy, sporty trait that we love. Handling, that should also stay true to the sedan's go-karty-like feel, while the Y, that's got an even higher stance, which will just feel very familiar, I guess. The truth is that the Model 3 standard specs have still retained the sedan class that you'd expect from a Tesla EV, but the real story actually turns alive when it comes to the build. Comparing the front of the vehicle, the storage differences with the Frunk, the Model 3 standard looks totally standard with no changes over the more premium variants of itself. It retained the sealed plastic insert straight from the Premium's playbook, so it keeps the waterproof properties, keeping elements dry and dust-free, I guess, with no compromises. If you pop the lid on the Model Y standard, the cost-cutting difference number 2 is right here, and this is a Model Y standard unique downgrade. The material is no longer that hard plastic. There's also no HEPA filter anymore and no drainage hole, and it doesn't match its premium variants, and so the Model 3 standard has that upper hand with this being retained. The Model 3 standard also manages to retain its matrix-like lighting capabilities, whereas that has also been removed from the Model Y. In terms of the front passenger windows, these are no longer acoustic glass as they have been traded for single pane windows, but the same cost-cutting exercise was, surprise surprise, not taken with the Model 3 standard. Flipping to the rear, now I'm glad that both of them actually retained their auto-lifting trunks, or boot as we'd call it here, but the 3 shines again with very little visual changes, whereas the Model Y standard compared to the premium long-range Model Y variants are notably different, as the light bar is stripped back and it has a redesigned flat spoiler. And I also want to highlight that I'm also not throwing shade at the Model Y standard here, as I still well and truly like what it does have to offer, but my focus for this video is just comparing it to their more expensive variants here and the Model 3 standard as it continues to shine through. And I think it's going to be hard to deny with, well, more differences are about to follow. Driving inside the new standard Tesla models, and the gap widens even further. The center console. The Model 3 mirrors the same center console as the Model 3 long range variants. You know, sleek, standard, very familiar, right? The wires, that's been totally redesigned. Like, there is no center console and it's very plastic heavy. The wireless charger has also been downgraded to a plastic pad too. And again, the Model 3 standard, that has kept that soft Alcantara material from the top trims. So that's going to retain that luxury feel, but noting that the actual wireless speeds of 15 watts do remain the same. Now, it's these little quirks that add up to me, and that's why I think the Tesla Model 3 standard is actually the real gem of these new affordable models. The noise isolation differences, you may ask. Well, as I mentioned earlier, the acoustic laminated glass up front in the 3 was retained from the pricier versions, but the Y reverts to that single pane everywhere and leans on its sealed roof for a more quiet, effective touch, I guess. But keeping on the roof, the Model 3 standard still retains its skylight panoramic-like roof, but the Model Y standard, that's actually blocked off by the carpeted material. And I mean, credit where credit is due. There will be some gains in climate efficiency here, as well as noise, but some will probably prefer the Sky Roos, especially the rear passengers. Another minor but notable difference is the doors. The rear bins are actually carpeted in the 3, whereas the same soft touch premium material as it was before, but the Y, again, it has a plastic touch. So before we conclude the video on the differences, remember at the start I mentioned about Tesla China releasing their own variants? They are expected to be the same value pack standards, but Tesla China could be plotting a variation of its own for a mid-2026 rollout if the rumours are to be believed. It's said to be that these aren't just US or Tesla Berlin clones though, but how different could they be? Expect tweaks like LFP batteries for endurance and cost, plus the China market extras to, well, just to sweeten the deal. And why might there be differences? Well, China's car market is incredibly competitive at the more affordable end, and Tesla could then be encouraged to export these to their usual export markets of Europe and Asian markets thereafter. The only question that I have though is, will they have the production capacity to take on those cheaper affordable variants, especially if demand is anticipated because they are more affordable domestically, I guess. If we hear of production downtime in China, that could be an indication of something to come, but for now, let's just sit, listen, and see what plays out officially. So to conclude, as you've just saw the evidence, I think the price that you're paying for the Model 3 standard, there is arguably more luxury here than the Model Y standard. Again, I repeat, the Model Y standard attracts a different target market than the sporty Model 3 sedan, but maybe as even your first Tesla EV or even as a second car. Damn, this new Tesla Model 3 standard is one hell of a car for its money, as it dials down less and keeps the sporty specs, but also still sheds the costs where it needs to. It's one hell of a Tesla experience if I compare it to my old Tesla Model 3 rear-wheel drive. Even still stripped down, the specs exceed it, and it's still vastly cheaper than it was new. And if this comes to the UK and it manages to hit that magic £250 or even £270 per month mark on the finance side, holy smokes, that will really be a eureka moment whereby Tesla just automatically twists your arm and it hits the buy button. Incredible value. I think it's undeniable. It may even qualify for the EV grant, but again, let's see how it all plays out. So what do you think to the new Tesla EV models? Are you seriously interested in buying one? And if so, what's pulling you to it? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out the links in the video description for Tesla accessories, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hype the video. You folks have been great, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.